Hello, welcome to my studio. I'm so glad you joined me. If you are new to my channel, welcome. And if you're returning to my channel, welcome back. So today, I wanted to take the elements that we've made in making our own ephemera and make some greeting cards. Now, I'm not a card maker, so if you are a card maker, I would appreciate any comments that you can give me on a way to make my card making easier. Although I'm not a card maker, I need cards. And so I use them for, thank yous and just all the things, birthdays, things that come across in your life as well. So our cards that we make today are not going to be exactly like these because no art is twice the same. But we're going to make some cards using these techniques. So let's get started. So I've got what I believe are the supplies we're going to need. We made together these papers, and I have a video on how we made them, and I've got some of those ready to go. And I'm dropping some on the floor. That's typical me. Okay, I've got these pieces of ephemera that we made from the painty papers. So I've got a little dish of those that we made. And again, that's another video that's on my channel. I brought a corner punch. If you don't have a corner punch, your scissors will do just fine. And then I brought the faux postage that we made together. So we'll take a look at that. And again, another video that's available. I'm going to be using my Strathmore watercolor paper. This is series 400, and it comes 12 sheets, and each sheet is 9 by 12, and it's 140-pound paper. And if I'm even doing watercolor, this is the paper that I like to use, and I cut it into 4s. So we're going to be having some of that in there. But if you have cardstock, if you have mixed media paper, just some kind of a white base. And then I've got these. Now, this is from a company named Darcy, and I got this off of Amazon, but you can get them at Michael's, and they're just blanks. So you've got the envelopes, and you've got the card bases. So we're going to be using these. And again, whatever card bases you have, or if you have cardstock, you can simply cut it to size. I don't even know what size these are. Let's see if I can. I mean, I know they're a standard size. As a matter of fact, I had the packaging, but here it is. I had the packaging, so it's Darcy cards and envelopes. It was they're called A7 in size, and there were 50 cards and 50 envelopes. And when I bought this, I bought it in a pack of 100, so they gave me 2 of these packs, and I know that I paid less than $20. So 100 cards for under $20, you know you can't buy them for that. So always a little method to my madness. Here is the 400 Strathmore that I've turned into card bases, and that's where we're going to get started. I also have some art glitter glue, any white glue that you have, although I do find that this adheres well. I also like the Aleene's tacky glue. There's another other products that you can use. This just holds quickly, and I find that I don't have to clamp things as long or even at all as I did with others, but it's really sticky. So got that. I've got my Scotch glue sticks that I like a lot. I have a bone folder. If you don't have a bone folder, you can just use the handle of some scissors. And then I just have my glue pad. Don't know if I'll even need it. So let's get started on a card. Now, one of the things about when I shop, and even if I'm shopping at Michael's or if I'm shopping on Amazon, oftentimes the corners like, see, I don't know if you can see, but this corner has been mashed, and it happens in the mail, it happens in the stores. So that's why I like to get a corner punch, and this is a smaller corner punch, and just give these a once around. I think it gives it a more finished look when you're done, but I also know that it can take those little troubled corners from traveling and just can give you kind of a nice flat base without those wrinkled up corners. So what are we going to use? Well, I showed you that big bag, but I just grabbed randomly some pieces of each color of these papers that we made together. One of the scrap busting videos. So I grabbed some in the greens, I grabbed some in the oranges, and I grabbed some in the purples, just so that we have a bit of a variety. And so for the first card, what I'm going to attempt to do is I'm going to make a kind of like the fan. And so this is already kind of fan shaped. So I'm just gonna gather it up. And although these cards do have some dimension, they still fit in a regular envelope just fine. And if in the process of the mail, they get a little more smashed or something, it's just going to add to the ambiance. Okay, so I've got an orange piece. Not sure if this one's big enough. Let's see. This one might work better. And I'm going to just crimple it up. And again, I'm trying to create sort of a fan shape, but I'm not expecting it to be like an oriental fan that those beautiful women use, but just kind of a triangle shape. I'm just gathering this up and trying to bring in some of the wrinkles and then bring them all to a logical base here and there. I've just kind of crimpled that up. So we've got a purple one, we've got an orange one, and I'm just laying them out now so that I can kind of get an idea before I start gluing them down. Now this was one of the coffee filters that we made, and I think this one's a little too big, but I'm going to start the kind of wrinkling up process, and then I can always tear off what's too much and just kind of pull it all together. And they don't all have to be the same size. So if one's just a little bigger than the other one, it really doesn't matter. And I'm really giving this base a pinch to help hold it together. So we've got 3 here, and I like the way that looks. So now I have to think about how I'm going to glue these on. So let's give that a go. I think I'm going to start with the orange one, and I'm going to get my art glitter glue here, and there's always some remnants of glue at the top. Get those off, because otherwise it builds up to the point that you can't squeeze the glue out anymore. And when you buy the art glitter glue, it comes with this tip. Mine did come that the tip was in a separate little package, but when I bought it, it indicated that the tip was included. So I understand sometimes the tips aren't included. So if you order art glitter glue, do make sure you get the tip. So I'm just going to add some of this glue in here, random, so that hopefully when I pinch it together, that will help hold. And while I'm holding it, I am putting the little pin back in my art glitter glue, because just that fast, it will plug itself up. So there we've got this down. And now I'm going to try to twist this and make this bottom more flat. And that's the part that I'm going to initially glue this to my base. And I'm just kind of heading, I would say I'm below half, and give that a press right there. And again, it's a card, so I want it to lay somewhat flat. It doesn't have to be perfectly flat. And then I'm going to take my glue And I'm going to just put a few random dots under it to help it lay flat here. And as you can see, I'm not clamping or clipping or weighting this down. I'm just holding it down with my finger. And I can feel that this glue is already grabbing. I've just added a little more under there to put that down. And there. Okay, number one. Okay, now here's the green one. And again, I'm going to take my art glitter glue and I'm going to just work some into these folds at the bottom so that it helps hold this in this kind of bunched up shape. Don't get frustrated. Don't fuss. Just it doesn't matter, you know. It's just a bunchy little petal-like piece, and again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And again, I'm going to give it kind of a twist so that the stem part is willing to lay flat. And there. Good. Already have the pin out. So I'm going to put this about here, and I'm going to give a few dots where I believe the green is going to touch, holding this down and then kind of pressing this down. Now, because it's a coffee filter, I can feel the glue seeping up through, but it dries clear. It'll be fine. And there. Okay. Number 2 down. And here I've got the purple. And again, I'm going to just put a little of this art glitter glue or whatever glue you're using at the base to help kind of hold it together as I pinch it up. And then kind of flatten this part out. And the wrinkles is what, in my opinion, gives it some character. And I think that's going to go there. This one's a little bit shorter, so I'm going to bump it up a little bit. So I'm going to put its base right here, and again, a few dots just to help hold it where I want it to go. I'm going to get that pin in there because I'm telling you, this stuff plugs up fast. So get the pin in there and then lay this down up here. So there. Now we've got our 3 little petals, and I think they're pretty. And now for the base. So remember we made, and I punched out these arty papers. So I've got the green, the purple, and the orange. So if I can incorporate any of those colors, I think that would be nice. A little big, in my opinion. Let's try one of the ovals. That's got an awful lot of yellow. How about this one? I like that. I like that. And it's not laying flat. I don't expect it to lay flat. So I'm going to go ahead, glue that guy down. Let's get these out of the way. And I'm going to give this a generous helping of the glue. This glue, you don't need a lot. You don't need as much as you might think, but I do want this to stick. And hopefully I won't get too much wanting to, here we go with this pin. I won't get too much trying to kind of ease out from under, but let's get this pressed down here. And that's kind of covering up those little stems or little bases. And there. Okay. That looks good. I don't know if you can see, but I got a little glue mark there, and I can just rub it off with my finger. But I'm not too worried about it because I'm going to pick another shape. Now, I believe I have some little hearts in here. If I don't, I have some in some previously made. But I'm going to see if I have some in here. Now, this heart is quite bold. Yeah, that, 2 things. It kind of matches too much, and I think it's a little too big. And I've got some other hearts. Ah, here we go. What about that little guy? I think that's adorable. I think that's adorable. Okay, I'm going to grab these up, put them back, and just a dot of this glue. I know you're thinking, why do I have to watch her do this? I'm sorry. But I've experienced when this plugs, and it's no fun. So there we go. Put that at the bottom. I think that's adorable. Okay, so there's our card front, but we need a base to put it on, right? So let's grab a base. Now, when you purchase these bases, they're already scored, and that's another reason why I like it. They're convenient, they're not expensive. But one side, it is like up, and the other side, it's dented in. And the temptation is to take the dented in and fold it that way, but it's not really correct. Where it's dented in, that needs to be the outside. So I'm going to carefully find that and fold it in this way. Then I'm going to take my bone folder, or as I said, you can just use a back of the handles of a scissors, and that works fine too. But this, creasing it and burnishing it, helps to stretch the paper, and it just gives you a nice crisp fold. And then this is going to go on top. I'm not so worried about getting it in the middle from top to bottom. If anything, I would rather it error where it's a little too high up. Where I'm going to try, but if I don't do it perfect, I am not throwing the baby away with the bathwater, to get these two edges fairly close. I'm not measuring, but I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to start with my glue stick so that I kind of have a 2-layer effect of glue. So this is the Scotch glue stick, and I give a nice generous circle in each corner. This paper, because it is designed for watercolor, is quite absorbent, so it can absorb the glue. So that's why I am being generous and just going around the edges. They're not really the edges, but just filling up the square. And then I'm going to take my art glitter glue and I'm going to go a little closer to the edges with just a few dots right in those corners, and then just bring it around the edge so that I don't feel it's going to ooze out, because it can leave a little stain. It dries clear, but you just know, that you've seen where the glue has worked its way out. I'm going to give it a little bit in the middle as well, just to help the whole thing along. You'd be surprised, because this paper is kind of tough. So, all right, I'm going to stand up. Sorry, but I want to get above this and try to make the edges as close as possible. And again, error in having the bottom be more generous showing than the top. I just feel like aesthetically that's a good look. And what do you think? Now I'm going to take my bone folder and just kind of burnish it where I can kind of sneak in and press that glue down, because I just think that helps the glue to adhere to the paper underneath. Okay, now let's get that pin back. I know you're going to see me do this 1,000 times. If it was a drinking contest, you guys would be all under the table. Okay, there she goes. Now, the same thing with these cards as with the paper. That the corners can be a little mashed, although this particular one isn't too bad. The other thing is, even though when this went through its machining process, they put that score in, with a machine, sometimes it's not quite perfect. And where you notice that is in the corners. And I don't know if you can see, but these corners don't exactly match up. So again, I take my corner rounder, or you can just take scissors and get that card. You've got to get that seated in there nice and snug, and then give it a punch. And now both corners are going to be the same distance apart, so they're not one aiming north and one aiming south. Turn it over. Okay, see, this one didn't quite catch all the way, so I'm gonna do it again. And yeah, it got more. Now that's a little better. How about this side? Can't hurt. Just tuck it in and give it a go. And now my corners, in spite of what the factory did, are together. And there is my card. And I'm going to sign it. Always sign your art. And there we have it. One card done. What do you think? I think it's really cool. Okay, let's do another one. We're on a roll. I'm grabbing another one of the watercolor sheets. I'm going to grab my corner punch, get those punched. There's nothing more disappointing than when you go to look at your card after you've glued it onto the base and you forgot to do the corners. Honestly, if there's a way to fix that, I haven't figured it out, but I suppose it can. Just do it at the beginning and get it over with. Okay, there's our base. And again, I've got our papers here. This time, I'm going to do more of a kind of collage-y look. And so I'm going to pick this paper. Now, this paper was done on an envelope, and that is that security kind of print that they put on there. And I just love it. I mean, I think this came out beautiful. I don't know if you can see the gold shine and all the little dots. But I'm going to think about laying that piece right there. And then let's get one of the orange ones. Now, this orange one has the gold, has kind of some leaves on there. And maybe set that guy about here. And then the green, maybe we have, how about this one? This one has the music notes. And kind of put that, I'm going to tear a little bit of this off. Put that there. What do you think? Modern art, huh? Just that easy. Let's put it together. I like it. I really do. Okay, so grabbing the art glitter glue with my safety envelope and giving it a go. So what you're witnessing is a non-card maker making cards. And those of you who make cards, I admire your work. And I mean that with the most sincerity. It's usually, or, well, I mean, it's a variety, but I see somewhere it's, you know, the technical work involved in all the lining up and having so many colors, yet none of them are bleeding. I mean, it is a lot of work, and I appreciate what you do. Okay, that looks good. Always audition what it is, and I'm sorry if I'm out of frame. Always audition and audition again, because once it's glued, you're pretty well stuck. Now, you know, there's always a workaround. I've told you that. Ugh. Always a workaround. We're going to risk it. And put this guy here. Give it a rub. Good. Now, if the edges are kind of raised, you know, that's fine with me. I just think that adds to the whole ambiance of the piece. And then we've got this green guy. I'm not going to put it in the middle. I'm going to offset it just a little. And I just think that's really nice. Anytime you've got music, papers, or maybe old book sheets, which are beautiful, look at the words. Make sure that you're not putting something that could be offensive, because you would be surprised what words can slide into books and music. Maybe you wouldn't be, but just Trust me, take a good look. Okay. I think that looks adorable. Adorable. Now, I feel like the composition is shifted an awful lot this way. I don't know if you agree, but I want to maybe add an element here or here that will bring it just a little bit more towards center. So how about postage? How about one of our bits of postage that we made together? I'm just going to grab a handful. I spied one with a heart, so I think I grabbed it. So we've got different colors, looking for something that will be complementary to our card. I think this is too big. Same with this. Now this one to me is complementary to the feel of the piece. So we'll just kind of keep that one in mind. I did want to look at the heart, because, you know, a greeting card, I think that lends itself to hearts. Oh, I think that's awfully pretty. I'm going with that. I'm going with that. Thanks for looking with me. I'm going to just leave these stamps out because we're going to do another card. So I might wish I had them. Art glitter glue. Again, I'm not concerned in this application for the edges to be risen up a little bit. I think it adds interest and dimension. Oh, let's not have it upside down. And let's just put that there. And I think it adds to the card. I like the light against the darker. But I also like that we've kind of grounded it a little more in the center. And again, if I make an error top to bottom, I would rather have something migrate a little closer to the top than the bottom. And I would I try as best I can, but I don't lose sleep over it. Try to get it to be kind of centered this way. All right, let's grab a card base. Sorry if I'm wiggling the table here, but I'm doing a boarding house reach. I've got my card base. I'm going to check it out. Which way is the dip and here's the rise, here's the dip. So folding it with the rise in and letting it fold into that slot. I'm going to get my bone folder. I mean, I'll show you, you can use scissors because I really want to avoid having you run out and buy a lot of supplies. So I'm just taking the bottom of a pair of scissors and giving it a good rub on both sides. It stretches the paper. And I mean, it literally stretches the molecules of the paper. You know, the paper's molecules are tight. And then what we're doing is we're relaxing them. We're bringing them out a little bit. So it's science, man. It's science. Okay, so here's the front of our card. I'm going to look at, what do I think? I think it's gorgeous. I think it's gorgeous. I like it. Okay. I'm going to get the glue stick and give it some glue stick here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then just kind of give it some help. And then I'm going to use my art glitter glue closer to the edge, but try to think about that I don't want the glue to ooze out on the edge. I think I can get in some spots just a little closer to the edge. And then a little art glitter glue in the middle. There. Okay. Sorry, but got to stand up so that I can see what I'm doing here to get it as straight as possible. Here we go. I'm looking. I think that's good. If it isn't, I wouldn't throw the card away. I'll tell you that. This is homemade. This is an artist's handmade piece. If somebody wants it to be machine perfect, then you need to go to the store and buy something that was made by a machine. This is made by our hands with a lot of care and love. And I think it shows. I think this is beautiful. I think it's ready to sign. Always sign your art. Take credit where it's due. And then grab that corner punch. You know, I don't know if you can see, but I mean that punch, this corner is just, it's rumpled. And then when you go to the back, they don't quite match up. So this just kind of gives the illusion that they're mated up. I'm going to turn them over and give it another go. And you know, you could feel that the punch is grabbing. So now it looks all matched up, ready for your sentiment. Gorgeous. Okay, you want to do another one? I do. I do. I hope you can hear the excitement in my voice because I really like these. All right, let's grab another backing. Don't get scared. I wasn't planning to do this many, but whatever it takes. Okay, so although we didn't have a video about these were made similar to the way I made these that you did see in the video. I just did more drawing and less punching. So what I was thinking is maybe we can find, like, I'll show you, here's a butterfly that I made, and it was sprayed and then Sharpie marker. Here's a mushroom. And I'm not saying I'm going to use all these elements, but I'm just showing you some of the other things that I made. Here's a star. And these wiggly guys are stems that I made. And then I've got some leaves that I made. You can see these are basic. These are not complicated. They're certainly not photorealistic, but just some of the things that you can create. Here is a flower, and the flower, and let's get rid of these guys and I'll show you. The flower goes this way, so you're looking at it more flat. And then see, you can add a stem, and you can add a leaf. So you can get the idea. And so there are more ways to take your papers that are scraps or spares and turn them into art. So anyway, I was thinking, and what I'll do is I'll just dump a little bit of this out, about maybe finding a flower, or I don't know. There's another flower. I like that one. I mean, I like them all, but I'm just trying. Oh, this is some grapes. I'm not sure what that's doing in there. You never know with Julie. You just never know. Mushrooms are awfully in style right now. You see an awful lot of things out there with mushrooms, kind of reminiscent of the 70s. Oh, look at this. I made a fish. Okay, enough shopping. Let's think about maybe a couple of flowers. Now, this is another sideways flower. This is a flat flower, all done on music note paper and then sprayed with, I sprayed the paper with dilutions, and then I added Sharpie marker on top. So I'm not really looking for that kind of a look right now, but I think I'm just going to leave out a couple of flowers because I really want to use our papers that we made together. That's just what I'm in the mood for. And it's your art. Go with what you enjoy at the time. You know, if you're in the mood to do finger painting, do finger painting. If you're in the mood to do scrap busting, bust some of your scraps. Just, you know, always do what pleases you. Okay, so I think what we'll do is go back to that, I like putting the squares or rectangles of this art. Okay, look at this piece. This has the edge of a paper pad. Isn't that cool? I'm going to definitely use some of this because I just think that lends itself to some visual texture. And this is a small piece that I had tore out. I kind of like it. I like that. I think this is a nice composition. And then if we added a flower, I think it needs more green. I like you, but I want more green. Now, this might be too big, but it might not. So before I give up, okay, see, I like this. I like this a lot. Now, this is wanting to curl the wrong way. So I'm just going to grab a pencil and I'm going to take this, and this was a grocery bag, and I'm going to take my pencil and roll it in the direction that I want it to kind of fall naturally. And that will help convince it to lay the way I want it to lay. See? There, no problem. I also don't know, but the shimmer, now that it's dry, the shimmering is showing up more. And that's the way those shimmers are. Even though you're spraying them on and thinking, is anything going on? It is. I'm going to have my composition be a little more towards the top than the bottom. And then have that flower. Again, the flower's kind of lost. I don't think that's going to work. All right, what about postage? Let's think about some postage again and see if we like that idea. Now this postage, oh, see, isn't that better? I mean, tell me it's better. I can hear you. It's better. And this one, you could put this way or this way, whichever way that you like it. Okay, I think it looks good. I mean, we could add more postage, but I don't know that it needs it. I know it doesn't need one that's that same color. These, this one, this is an Amana. Maybe if we put her, she's kind of fun with her. So proud of her new Amana microwave from the 80s. And then maybe one here. And then maybe one here. You know, I'm liking it. I'm going for it. Sold, done. Don't look anymore. Let's just get it on there. Now, if you're making a piece like this, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces, and you're like, oh, how do I glue these down? And I remember, take a picture. Get your phone, take a picture, and then when you scoot everything off, you can refer to it if you kind of don't remember the way it was, because it's never the same twice. But I'm just going to lift this up, and I'm going to start with the bottom and work my way up. So we're going to start with this big old green piece. I just love it. I love it. And look, grocery. This was made out of a grocery bag. Who doesn't have a brown grocery bag? And I will admit, I avoid using a lot of grocery bags. I use the reusables, but every once in a while, and I shop at Aldi a lot. I don't know if you have Aldi, maybe you have Lidl, but you have to provide your own bags, but you can buy them. And sometimes I buy, for any number of reasons, a bag or two. And I use it for, you know, like if I'm delivering to somebody else and, you know, that kind of thing. Okay, here's the orange piece. If you have Trader Joe's, unless you bring your own, they give you the brown paper bags. Put this guy here. I think I need to just be a little, see, this stuff sticks. Just a little bit higher. Okay. Yeah, if you go to buy that art glitter glue, you're going to find that it's just a little more expensive than other glues, but you don't need as much as the other glues, and it really does stick. I am not gluing down that edge where we pulled this out of the pad, but I'm going to leave that so that if it sticks up that's totally fine. I think it's very attractive. Now we wanted the lady with her new Amana. We wanted her on top. So, oh, wait a minute. I think she was under this one, but on top of this one. That's totally upside down. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to stick her down first, but I'm going to not put glue on that corner. What corner? Okay, so this corner. I'm going to avoid glue there so I can tuck that other piece in. Put her down. She's so fun. She is so fun. That microwave opens this way instead of this way like a door. That's how old. And I just found it in a, it was in a, like, I don't know, it's like a phone book that they give you for free, but it's not a full-size phone book. It's just kind of a local one with a lot of local advertising. And we'll put this stamp on, I think, this way. You'll notice that I tend to work in odd numbers. So 1 stamp or 3 stamps. 1 piece of paper or 3. I find that uneven numbers. What happens is if you're using 2, 4, 6, your eye will automatically start dividing up whatever you're looking at. And I want to avoid that. So this guy needs to be tucked under her. A little more. A little more. Oh boy. It is stuck. Okay, it's stuck. So what I'm going to have to do, I think, is just tear this off a little bit. And then, yeah, and then it'll tuck in better. And no one will know unless you tell them. Please don't. And then we'll stick this down. I feel like I'm looking under a lady's dress. Okay, a little bit of glue is seeping out, but we'll just wipe that off. There we go. Oh, got some glue. Oh, I got some glue on her face. Okay, good, good. All right. I think that looks great. And sign it. Oh, look what I didn't do. Get those corners. And see, that's what I'm telling. I had to talk to myself as much as you. And see, that corner's kind of rumpled down. Let's just get in there and get these corners rounded. And then it just, oh, that wasn't very good. There. And then see if I can improve this one at all. It is what it is. Okay. Now we need a card base. I hope you're enjoying this. If you are, if you find this helpful, inspirational, then please consider hitting the like and subscribe. Here we go. So here is the dent in. This is raised up. So put the raised up inside and then fold your card, grab your bone folder or your scissor handles and give it a burnish. Press it down. It makes a difference. You may not think it does, but I promise you it does. And there we go with that. And then I'm going to grab my corner punch and punch and punch. Turn it over because we're doing 2 of them and I want to just make sure that we're making those as alike as we can. And here's the front of our card. And we're going to place this on. See how that, I know I say don't strive for perfection, and I'm not, but it's just that this is really a rather easy fix. And that's all I did was just took off that rough edge. And get my glue stick, round dot in each corner, and then a little scribble through. And then I'm going to get my art glitter glue closer to the edge, but hopefully not wanting to ooze out. And there. And you know, this kind of natural card, I gotta stand up. I use these for Christmas, birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, anything. It's the part that I'm gluing down now that changes when I change the reason why I'm sending a card. So I do not buy anything other than these card colors. I really like this. I think this came out gorgeous. Okay, well, let's take a look at what we made. We made this card, and we made this card, and we made this card. And I like them all three equal. I really think they came out sweet. And I've signed all three. So I'm just going to show you quickly, because these come with matching envelopes. So I'm just grabbing an envelope, and I'm just going to give you some ideas. Now, if I was ready to seal this, I could seal it with something like this and then just glue it down. I still use the regular sealing of the envelope, but you know, you can just decorate that, or you need to leave, you know, room for your address and your return address. But sometimes I'll just put a little something in the corner here. These things that you add do need to be flat, because the postal service will just kind of grip them. So I've got this little piece that I left behind, remember? And then maybe I don't want to confuse the machines with stamps that aren't stamps. So maybe I'll just add one of these little flowers in the corner. I'm not crazy about that. Let's go back to these. I don't know why, but I just really like these. Maybe grab an oval. They're very different. They're very, I wouldn't say clash, but they're definitely opposite on the color wheel. And that's one of the things that makes me like it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my glue stick, and I have my little glue book here so that I can not get glue all over my table, not get glue all over my work. And then grab that and put it on here. And that glue stick is strong, and it makes threads sometimes just like a glue gun. And I'm just going to flatten this out, because it is important to me that this is as flat as it can be. And then I've got the oval that I'm going to put on top. Is that my favorite? I don't know. I'm second guessing. What about this? Okay, see, I like this better. This one is just a little too busy for me. Doesn't mean I won't use it somewhere else, but same thing. I'm going to take my glue stick, and I'm going to work on my glue book here, or my little glue pad, and then I'm going to glue this guy down in this corner. So now I've glued and decorated a little envelope. So if you have this card, for instance, and this card would go in there. But look, any of the cards, I think, would go with that envelope just fine. I really do. So here's the first card that we made with an envelope. I think they go. And here's the second card that we made, and I think they go. Okay, I hope you found this video inspirational. I hope that you found it helpful. If you did, I would so much appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to my channel, hitting the like button, and leave me a comment. I would love to know, number one, if you're a card maker, how I can do better. And number two, if you're making cards, I would love to hear about it. Maybe you were just crafting along. Let me know what you were doing for your crafting project today. I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye.